Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over a story titled, I Ruined My Marriage with My 33-Year-Old Husband by Opening Up, Is It Irreparable? And guys, this story is about a woman who is singing the blues and looking for a whole lot of pity because guess what? She completely ruined her marriage by opening it up and browbeating her husband into it, and now it's a total mess. You're going to see in this story, guys, how barely the ink was dry on their marriage license when she already was getting bored and wanted to open things up. And you'll see in the beginning, the husband was like, no way. But she just bugged him until he finally caved. And then he did. And obviously has been a downward spiral ever since. And you're going to see here, guys, to no surprise, she has no problem getting dudes because guys are pigs. And if she's above average looking, no problem. But eventually, the guy meets someone else, a much younger, prettier woman, and he starts falling for her, and she's falling for him. And then, big surprise, all of a sudden she wants to close things up again because now she's afraid of losing him. Well, guess what? This guy, he's not giving her up, and it looks like he's pretty much going to kick her to the curb. And so she's having a meltdown and freaking out about all that. And I'm doing this, guys, as another example to show you how much of a mess it is nowadays when this idea, and I don't know when it started becoming popular to sell people on this idea, it's a mess. And it just destroys marriages, destroys relationships. And the second anybody asks for that, goes both ways, men or women, it's done. And a lot of people don't like hearing that, especially people who are into alternative lifestyles, but it is what it is. You can't deny these things that you just see over and over again. So for any guy out there that's in a relationship and his lady, his wife, whomever brings this up, you got to really reconsider her real love for you, her loyalty, all that. So, that being said, I'm going to get right into it. She says, before I start, I want to say, please don't berate me. I know I've been a terrible wife. I don't need anyone confirming the fact for me. I have an 11-year relationship, 7-year marriage, open for 3 years, and I have a 4-year-old son. So it's already bad enough that she's doing this to the guy, but now she also has a 4-year-old kid. Now notice how she said they've been open for 3 years, and this has been going on longer than that, after the child was born. And by the way, I got to wonder if the child is really his. DNA test. Not long after we got married, I realized I wasn't satisfied with our sex, so I asked him about a threesomething, and he said never. But I bothered him about it until he finally gave up, and we had one with another man. Smack to that guy. I'm glad he said no way at first, but she just bugged him until he finally caved. Does this sound like she loves him very much when she obviously knows he doesn't want to do this, that obviously he's hurt by this? I mean, whatever happened to, you get married and it's just the two of you? If she obviously wants to have other dudes, then she shouldn't have married the guy, but probably because at the time she was in her late 20s, everybody else was getting married, so, okay, well, I got to get married too, but maybe I can convince this guy to let me have my cake and eat it too. That's probably what's going on. And he participated in a threesomething just to make her happy? Come on, dude. That only made our sex life worse than before. Eventually, I demanded that we start swinging. He declined, but again, I was able to talk him into it. She is awful. And you wonder why the sex got worse. Because now he's picturing her with other dudes. He's feeling like doesn't have enough as a man, right? It says here, after only a few times of going to the group, they told me that we weren't welcome anymore because my husband kept abruptly leaving in the middle of it and I was making them all uncomfortable. We argued for a while about him embarrassing me. He reclused himself for a few days. The next time we spoke, I brought up wanted to have an open marriage, and he agreed straight away if it meant I didn't harass him endlessly until he agreed anyway. So she just wore him down. And again, a smack to him for going along with this, and another smack for him not ending it with her, quite frankly, the way she's treating him. But right here, she just bugs him until he finally caves. Okay? She just wore him down. And again, in the beginning of this story, she says, please don't berate me. I know I've been a terrible wife. Well, you're darn right you've been a terrible wife. But don't worry, guys. This guy has the last laugh. She says, listen to this. This is no surprise here. I was able to get one-night stands and F-buddies relatively easily while he was getting nothing for it. She's above average. She can get plenty of dudes. It is what it is. But for a guy, it is way harder. Even a good-looking guy can hold up a sign saying free sausage, and it's not like he's going to get a line of gals lining up down the street. But a woman that's even just average, can hold a sign saying free you know what. There'll be dudes lined up down the street, whether they want to admit it or not. I went through a long string of partners and he resented me for it. Of course he resented you for it. You're supposed to be his wife who loves him and is loyal, and meanwhile, look what you're doing. And not to mention, you're a mother now. What kind of mother does this? Unbelievable. But then again, he allowed this. He stayed with her with this. And that shows something about him, if we're being fair here. He was loveless and broken. Around July last year, he met a group of younger people, all around early 20s, and they all took a shine to him. In particular, a girl who we'll call Vicky. He started sleeping with her the day they met, and he's been with her ever since. So for almost a year and a half. I met Vicky, and she's a gorgeous, creative, intelligent, and bubbly PhD student. Also, she looks a hell of a lot like his biggest celebrity crush. I wasn't snooping originally. Yes, she was snooping. But I knocked his computer's mouse and saw a Facebook conversation between them talking about how much he regrets marrying me, how he hates the open relationship, but it's glad it meant them, the two of them met. I didn't mention the conversation, but I asked him about closing the marriage, and to say he wasn't interested is an understatement. He said that if I ask for this, and that I can't just close it now because he's getting attention and I don't like it. So just like other stories I've done, and it's amazing the patterns you see here, she was getting all the sauce that she wanted, but the second this guy got someone that really liked him, because he's not interested in hooking up with lots of chicks, he just wants someone to love him and be loyal. He met this young gal, and it helps that she's beautiful and all that. Now the wife wants to close it, because I guarantee you, if she initially thought that she would have competition or might lose him, she probably wouldn't have done this. She only did this because it was in her favor. You make your bed, you lie in it, honey. But here's the kicker. Since he met Vicky, he's been an all-around better man, father and husband. All the affection, lust, and passion from the beginning is back on his end and is better than ever. Well, because he sees that somebody cares about him, somebody that's attracted to him. Not to mention it helps that she's a young woman, beautiful, going places, probably higher up on the totem pole, definitely higher in the totem pole than his wife. So of course he's feeling better, in a better mood. But I feel like a piece of crap. I feel like Hitler himself for grinding down the man I love into a mere shell of himself, only for him to become better than he ever was from the emotional support of another woman. Lady, you don't love him. You never loved him. Because if you truly loved him and saw, you wouldn't have wanted this to begin with, let alone after he said no and didn't want to do this. You created this. This is all you're doing. You deserve exactly what you get. The turmoil you're going through and all that. Too bad. I know this is my fault, but I don't want open marriage anymore. Tough shit. She's stealing him from me and I deserve it. Oh yeah, she's stealing her. You know what? No, you served him up on a silver platter to her. That's all your fault. I've truly learned my lesson. I will be a better wife, I promise. No, you won't. Because the second, if he gave her up, maybe for a few weeks or a few months you might be better, but then slowly things will go back to normal, but he's never going to see you the same again. Do you think he's ever going to trust you again, that you're not going to hurt him? And let's just say that for some reason that he thought that. Well, he's still going to imagine all these different dudes piping down his wife, okay? He lost all respect for himself, all self-respect by allowing this and being weak and all that, which he was. I'm not going to deny that. But now he's getting a second chance, and I'm sure he's laying the foundation that he can bail on this awful wife and start over. I just hope he doesn't make the same mistake twice. I'm dying with jealousy. I want him to be mine again. Now notice she says I'm dying with jealousy. I'm not saying like I feel like I'm going to truly lose this amazing man. It's just jealousy, competition. This is the lowest position I've ever been in. Lowest position you've ever been. I'm sure you've been in pretty low positions, honey. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make myself better and repair a relationship. You're not going to repair the relationship. You're done. I know I've been awful, but please don't be too nasty to me. I'm already paying the price, and I won't pull this crap ever again, whether it be with him or a theoretical future partner. Lady, by the way, guys, I include some comments at the end of this thing, and let me tell you, they came after her like she was their worst enemy, and she has it coming. Now, Here are some comments. Now, but before I get to the comments, let me just reiterate what I had to say in the beginning. She ruined this. Just like many other stories I've gone over, she completely ruined this. She's selfish, okay? This is what she wanted, she should have married the guy. But it's probable, because of the age that she got married, late 20s, all the other gals she knew were getting married. Well, most women I've noticed are fearful of the big 3-0, so they want to make sure they're on the way to the altar or married by then. Got bored, wasn't for her, so now she read about these open marriages, open relationships in Cosmo or wherever these things are done. Maybe she knows some gals that do this. And now I want to have an open marriage, and probably knew darn well that she could wear this guy down because he obviously wasn't strong enough to stand up to her and say, that's it, we're done. Because I guarantee you, if he said, that's it, I'm walking, we're done, or at least she knew that he would have a lot of women after him, she probably wouldn't have done this. But no woman that truly loves their man, wholeheartedly loves her man, would ever do this, okay? End of story. But she ruined it. And now he found a great girl, and I hope, like hell, he kicks his wife to the curb. And he has this great gal. I don't want him to marry her, no freaking way, but she can definitely help build up his self-esteem and self-worth. I mean, a man should build up his self-esteem and self-worth by himself, by his own actions and successes in life, not because somebody else gave him the validation. But right now, when he was feeling pretty low, that definitely helped him. And I hope he betters himself. And then one day, just see where it goes. But staying with her, he'd be out of his damn mind. And it's just, you notice a pattern with these stories, guys. It's always the same situation. And no, it's not the same person writing it in a different format. It's, I read these stories, or somebody will send me these stories, and I already know how it's going to end before I even read the damn story, because this is how they all go. Now for the fun part, some comments. And let me tell you, they are not very nice. One guy says, "Are you seriously asking this question? Here's how you repair it. Leave this man and let him have a little bit of his dignity back. After all the things he's done for you because you pushed him so hard, it sounds like he really didn't want to do them, and you had the nerve to ask how to fix this. You have to leave. You're a effed up piece of crap excuse for a wife." Amen. Could have said it better myself. She brought this on. She ruined it. End of story. And the whole, please don't be mean to me, please don't berate me, that's what she deserves, and that's what she needs, quite frankly, if it's going to make her realize. Another guy says, "You're taking a lot of heat already, so I'll just take a shot at answering your question. I doubt seriously that you will ever convince your husband to give up somebody that is gorgeous, creative, intelligent, and bubbly, and who obviously makes him feel great about himself. Even if you were able to manipulate him, as you seem to have a knack for doing, into closing the marriage, he would most likely be very, very resentful and go back to the version of himself that you didn't like to begin with. I think it's unrealistic for you to think that there's any way possible that a closed marriage moves forward and he maintains his new positive outlook on life. He would just be pissed and resent you, which he would have had every right to be. Your marriage is effectively over. Your choices are to keep the marriage open and try to have your own fun and deal with the fact that your husband enjoys someone else's company more than yours, or call it quits with the knowledge that he's going to continue seeing Vicky. This marriage is over. End of story." And I'm surprised. Well, I'm not surprised the guy hasn't just ended it right then and there, because obviously he doesn't take charge, and he's definitely has a lot of weakness in him. But maybe something will change and he'll have the strength to do so. But it's not going to work. But I think this lady can have 1,000 people telling her the same thing, and she's not going to budge. And for the last one, and let me tell you the harshest one for last. One guy says, "So let me get this straight. You didn't like his sex, so you pushed him into humiliating threesomethings. He didn't want the threesomething, so you pushed him into the swinging, which he frequently left you while you would chastise him and berate him for embarrassing you. Wow. After the swinging still wasn't enough for you, you pushed him into letting you go F whoever you want. Because let's be honest, you clearly didn't do any of this because you could give an F about anybody but yourself. You effed dozens of men while your husband was at home trying to cope with the fact that his wife, in name, only was literally just disregarding him as a person and a human being entirely. You finally find someone who cares about him, takes an interest in him, and is emotionally there for him in a way that you literally never took an interest in the entire 10 years you've been effing and sucking anything with a heartbeat. Now you're old, saggy, undesirable, and your decent potential for F partners are drying up. And he, having stayed true to himself, has found someone younger, smarter, prettier, and kinder than you. Not surprising to anyone, you did the shitty thing, snooped, and then tried to separate him from the one thing bringing him happiness in his life. Never before have I seen truer fulfillment of the words, you reap what you sow. You will likely be alone, divorced, and unhappy for the remainder of your life. And he will restart his with someone who actually knows how to function like a human being. The only advice I have for you is reap it, bitch. That is probably one of the best comments I've ever read, but dead on. I mean, the guy who wrote that is completely warranted. She brought this on herself, end of story. And I really hope this guy has the strength to move the hell on. So, those out there that are relationship guys and your lady brings this up, you need to really think about these things and think about her real care and love for you. Because believe me, in these stories, they do their darndest to convince you just how much they love you, but everybody else is doing it now and it's the thing and blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. If she truly loved and cared, end of story. And maybe she may have more of a appetite for the loving and therefore feels a little unfulfilled. Well, they can work together. He can be a little better in the bedroom for her or something like that. Or just accept the fact that, God forbid, you stay with the guy you married and work it out one way or another. Who the hell knows? But these things never work. And then these selfish a-hole wives, they want their guy back after they just destroyed their souls. Not a chance. So to this dude, if he out there, I'm going to send some good vibes into the universe. I wish him well. And you all can wish him well. Hopefully he moves on from this harpy and so on and so forth. Because it's a miserable situation. She's a miserable human being with the way what she did to him and just pushed him. And he wasn't happy. I mean, it's terrible. You don't do that to someone you love, even though she claims she loves him. Bullshit. Total narcissist. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.